Graves. First of all, I'd like to give you a little background, and then I'll get right into my questions. This will just take a second. But I represent part of a city called Peoria, Illinois. You know the old saying, does it play in Peoria? Town of 115,000 people. The Illinois River runs through it. So right now, they're looking at what would be considered an innovative, cost-effective solution using green infrastructure to address combined sewer overflows. But even, as we call it, or it's termed cost-effective, it's got a $200 million price tag, all right? So pretty costly. And I know that Peoria and towns across the country need the EPA to be partners in working to improve water quality and upgrade our aging water infrastructure. And I know that also means that we don't need to weaken the Clean Water Act, but it does mean that we need to give our towns, our cities, tools to look at integrated planning and resources they need to support investment in water infrastructure and also to create jobs. So certainly appreciate all of you being here and testifying before us today. So in Peoria, this is my question now. They're reducing, this plan is to reduce the water overflow, the combined sewer overflow into the Illinois River, while also beautifying the streets and the areas in the city's older neighborhoods. So my first question will be for Mayor Dupree. You mentioned that your city's part of the EPA's Green Infrastructure Pilot Program.
That's correct.
How did your city become interested in using the green infrastructure to help address the water quality? And do you have thoughts on how the program is going so far, if you could share that?
Well, I think it's going well. One of the things that we had, not only are we under consent order, an amended agreed order, we also are working with EPA on the sanitary sewer overflows. They've cited us for almost everything you can count on. We had to look for innovative ways in order to make that happen. And this is an actual way that EPA and the city and the state came together to form this coalition so that we could come up with innovative ways to do some things. That's what integrated planning is all about. Mm-hmm. It's about seeing if it's affordable. We understand that if it's not affordable, it's not sustainable. So you have to work all of those things together, and that's a way that partnership actually work. And hopefully they're going to come down in the next month or so, and we're going to actually have a schematic to work on green infrastructure, and hopefully it'll be a pattern that we can be used across the United States.
Mr. Chairman, Representative Bustos, if I may, in Cincinnati, Hamilton County, we also had an approved green infrastructure alternative to what was originally in our consent decree, which was a massive $500 million deep tunnel approach. Okay. The actual costs of our green approach to do the same thing, reducing the CSO issues and the volume of water that we were required to address, was almost cutting that in half. Our final cost on it was $244 billion versus $500 billion. So actually a little bit less, or a little bit more, I should say, than half of the cost was saved. But there's one other thing about cost savings that no one's brought up that I want to also quickly add. Green infrastructure keeps water out of the sewer system. That produces an additional benefit to operational costs because you're not treating so much volume at the back end. So not only does it reduce costs on the front end in terms of capital expenses, but operational expenses of the sewer district are reduced as well to increase the benefit.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Levine, if green infrastructure is cost-effective and provides benefits in terms of quality of life and public health, why aren't more communities using it? And do you have thoughts on how Congress can help with that?
Right. It's a great question. I think it's important to recognize that a lot of communities are using it. Mm-hmm. Especially in the last half dozen years or so, as EPA has made important steps forward and called attention to the ways in which the existing Clean Water Act scheme allows for and can even be used to encourage green infrastructure in permits as well as consent decrees to meet CSO obligations, to meet municipal stormwater obligations, to meet, in some cases, sanitary sewer overflow obligations. We've talked a lot about flexibility in the testimony and responses to questions and answers. I think really the word is being smart, is what I would say. It's not about new flexibility that's needed. It's about doing things in a smart way. And in many instances, as Mr. Butler pointed out, for example, green infrastructure will be the smartest way to do it. In some other instances, it may not. But being smart about this and it allows us to be cost effective, allows us to achieve the maximum benefit for the investment, not only the benefits to clean water, but the benefits to neighborhoods, the benefits to communities. And in fact, that also allows, when you consider that wide range of benefits, allows you to tap into additional sources of money as well. When you're serving multiple benefits, you can tap into, for example, community revitalization dollars or transportation dollars that are going towards rehabilitating streets, and get green streets as part of that project and get the water benefit as well. So I think part of it is a need for greater realization and understanding among those communities that have not yet done so of what all those multiple benefits are. I think Congress can certainly encourage that with the ideas like in a couple of the bills, dedicating EPA resources towards promoting green infrastructure, establishing that as an office within EPA. And then, of course, by using federal funds such as the SRF to direct dollars towards these sorts of projects that have tended to be underfunded the way states have used the SRF in the past.
All right, thank you. My time's expired. I yield back.